Hey guys, welcome to Visual Wilderness. We got an awesome Clint Birkinshaw on the other line now. He's a travel photographer. He's been all over the world, except the USA, I believe. And he's got some amazing stories, some awesome pictures, and he's just an overall great guy. So welcome, Clint.
Cheers, mate. It's good to be on here again. My name's Clint. I'm a travel photographer. I've recently got back from a bit of a stint west around the world with my wife. And it's good to be back on Visual Wilderness and seeing you guys again.
Awesome. And now you've got to actually introduce Jay.
Alright, g'day. My name's Clint, and this is Jay Patel. He's on one of the owners of Visual Wilderness. Welcome, Jay.
All right, thanks, guys. I'm Jay Patel, and I love to talk about stories with Clint because he is just one of those guys who love to travel just like us, and sort of lives a dream life for a year and a half, and then goes out and makes some money and does it all over again, which is just awesome. So good to have you here, Clint, again. So let's jump right into Visual Wilderness episode. This episode is about Patagonia, end of the world. Clint wrote two blog posts that were just awesome. If you haven't read it, go to Visual Wilderness and just type Patagonia in the search box, and his blog post will come up. And just to give you an idea of where Patagonia is, I will turn it over to Clint, who can share his screen and show us where he's been.
All right, guys. Okay, I'm just going to put on a screen share here. Okay. You should be able to see this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. There we go. We can see it.
Hey, basically, this is Patagonia, as what Jay was referring to. At the end of our 15-month stint that we were going west around the globe, one of our final stops was to come down and spend a good amount of time in Patagonia. Now, I'll zoom in a little bit here. This is right at the end of the world. You basically can't get further south on the planet than Patagonia unless you're going to go to Antarctica. And the places we travelled to was Argentinian side around here, which this little place mark is the Perito Moreno, the glacier, and Mount Fitzroy Ranges, and Chile's famous Torres del Paine.
So, Clint, what I want to do is, for our viewers, is kind of walk you through as to how did you find places to stay, and what kind of research you did to be able to get to these places.
Yeah, in order to get down here, generally what I originally did first, we had already seen all the magnificent photos and stuff coming from out of Patagonia, and we were dying actually to get down there and photograph it. So I guess one of the best tools is to grab a guidebook and get all of that information. But heading into these parks is a bit of a different story, and you need to come well prepared. Now, I will first talk about actually Torres del Paine, which is probably most people want to hear about.
But where did you fly into, before we get into that? Where would you fly into? I mean, it's the nearest airport or a big city that is...
Okay, yeah. You have to probably generally either go to Chile, Santiago, or Buenos Aires in Argentina. And after that, there is an airport down. I'm not sure if you can see it here.
Yep, I can see it.
Punta Arenas.
Yep.
There's an airport there, and from there you can go further south. To the further south town is Ushuaia.
Yep.
And the more famous ones is slightly further up north, Torres del Paine National Park, in which you can hop on a bus and take a 6, 7, 8 hour bus journey up to a town close by called Puerto Natal, which is here. Now, this is basically the jumping off point for the park close up, Torres del Paine. And this is an important point that you need to stop at in order to prepare for your trip to visit the parks in Patagonia. Here, you can get all your camping needs, all your food, stock up on food, your tents, all your clothes, and everything like that. That you're going to need to prepare for it, because these conditions in Patagonia are absolutely crazy. And if you don't venture into these parks prepared with the correct gear, you're going to find yourself in a whole lot of trouble.
So there is no place to stay in terms of a lodge or a hotel or anything in Torres del Paine?
In Torres del Paine, there is one place you can stay in a hotel, basically at the drop-off point. And the famous the famous kind of shots of the Torres, what I'll do is screen share one of the shots. You can stay virtually a few hours trek down from this place. Can you see this one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now this is deep in the Torres del Paine National Park, and you can. This is particularly famous for the W trek and the Q trek, which go for around 5 days to 10 days, however long you want to spread it out. And there's only one little hotel close by this in which you can probably get up here and back in a day, but that's about it. You can't do anything else. If you really want to see the park, then you have to stock up on your food, your clothes, come in all prepared, have a tent, and you're going to be going for a big trek for at least 5 days, which is absolutely fantastic. And that's what I really recommend doing if you like getting into your bushwalking, your camping and stuff like that. It's hard pressed to find scenery similar to this.
Okay, so what month did you go in when you guys went?
We went in the summer, or summer towards the end of summer this year for the southern hemisphere. That is, so it's winter for the northern hemisphere. The conditions in Patagonia, the winds, the cold, the rain is very, very, very harsh. And in winter, it's going to be extremely dangerous, but I can imagine it'll be absolutely beautiful. There are a few photographers out there that manage to brave themselves going out in the middle of winter and capturing these places absolutely smothered in snow and ice, and I take my hat off to them because the conditions in summer are harsh as it is.
So the trails that you guys went on when you guys backpacked, are they well marked?
Yep. That's one of the best things about Patagonia. Everything's set out for you. When you stop off in Puerto Natales, there's camping gear and everything that you can hire there. It's absolutely fantastic. You're going to have a heavy backpack. For starters, but it gets as you go on through all your trekking, it gets lighter as you eat all your food actually. But there's paths absolutely everywhere. You really can't get lost. It's absolutely beautiful for that. And these treks take you, these paths take you right around I'll get the map up again, and they take you, give me a sec. Okay. Now, you should be able to see this screen share. Yep. Can you see the screen share?
Yep.
Yep. The area here, you can see, I'll get rid of the place marker. The right screen is exactly where you want to be, where all the photos, those magic photos with the really unique mountains come from. And basically that large group of mountains right in the middle, you can spend 8 to 10 days walking right around that. It's called the Q trek, or you can do the southern half, which is the W. Now, just want to talk about a couple of photos that I got from this. My actual favorite viewpoint from these is further out, actually, and I'll share a particular photo that I want to talk about. This is, you can see this one now?
Yes.
Yeah. This is a sunrise. This is actually further back from the trek, from when the drop-off points are and everyone goes in. We decided that when we arrived at the park, we wanted to get some of those further away shots. So we actually went an hour and a half trek backwards from the lake in order to get the mountain range from a distance, because it's my personal favorite viewpoint of Patagonia, because these mountains are just majestic. And it's absolutely amazing being surrounded by them and being in them and everything like that. But my personal viewpoint is just looking at these from a distance. This is a sunrise shot. We went camping, we pitched our tent, and I set an alarm to get off, get up at 3:30, 4 a.m. in the morning. But Patagonian weather, it is unpredictable. You can't control it. It's you never know what you're gonna get. You might get lucky, you might not get lucky. And when I first got up at 4 a.m. in the morning in order to poke my head out the tent, all I got was just heavy rain, absolutely blowing a gale, freezing conditions, miserable, worst photography conditions you can imagine. So you can imagine my heart kind of just sunk, and I'm like, oh, all disappointed. So every stayed warm in my sleeping bag, and it was so cold. But every half an hour, I braved, sticking my head out the tent to recheck the conditions, And it stopped raining, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to get it. I'm going to give it a go. This is a kind of a once in a, this is one shot at this. So I got my tripod, got my camera, and walked 45 minutes up near the top of this nearest mountain. And I had absolutely no hope of capturing the mountains. I could barely see them. Grey sky. Yet, just as I got up the top and was considering going down again, because I thought it was going to be too late for any colour to ever appear, this little slither of cloud behind me just opened enough for the sun to peek through and light up the entire mountain range in this beautiful soft red colour. And these colours literally only lasted for 5 minutes max, no more than that. And then before it appeared, completely closed over back to grey and started pelting down with rain again. And it really goes to show you never know what you're going to get. You've got to go out there prepared. You've got to go out with patience and not expecting any, not having too much expectations. But with perseverance, you can really get out there and pull off a nice shot.
So it just goes to show you that sometimes you have to be prepared, and then if you're prepared, if something does happen, you can just catch it instantly.
Exactly, because sometimes the window of opportunity only opens up for a few minutes.
So let's go back to the map if you can. I saw a couple of roads in there in the map. Are those tracks, or are those actually roads that lead into Patagonia?
Yep. I'll get that. I'll put that map up again. Here we go. Should be able to see the map now. Okay. Yeah. This is basically the road that I'm on. So you get dropped off to the right. I'll put this down so you can see a bit more of a geographical representation of what I'm talking about. Oh, too much. Okay. And so you come in on these roads, and you basically you come all the way in here on the bus, and you get dropped off right in the middle of there. And basically the trek you get on the standard trek that people do is there's a ferry boat that takes you across the water to the left-hand side of this screen and up towards the top left-hand corner here.
Yep.
And then basically that's where the trek starts, and you start going all the way around the mountains, and you can go right deep in this valley here for photographs. and ride around, and it's absolutely stunning. The vistas are actually stunning, and I recommend anyone do that.
Okay.
But go in prepared. Go to Puerto Natales. Spend a good few days stocking up, getting as much information as possible. And one place I really can recommend is there's this place called Erratic Rock. There's this absolutely stunning hostel there, and I reckon in the 15 months that we were backing, it felt most like home there. The guys are awesome, really homey feeling, awesome peanut butter. If you guys like peanut butter, they home make it fantastic. And they do a free, and then the most important thing is for you guys that are going to go trekking, 3 p.m. every day, they do a free information session telling you absolutely everything you need, and hire out camping gear and all this stuff. So I can't recommend these guys more for information in terms of going to Patagonia. And if anyone wants this information, just email me or chuck me a message and I can shoot you through any of the details.
Well, if you have a link to their website or some information, just send it to me and I'll put it in. When I put up a post for this, I'll just include it in there.
Yep, will do, can do.
And that way, anybody who reads this can go ahead and do that. So let's talk about, I saw your photo and you had one of the photos was your backpacking gear. So let's talk about what did you take? Yeah.
All right, that's a good one to show you. All right, here's my wife getting, you can see that one? Here's my wife. This is getting ready. This is in one of the hostels that we were staying in. This is actually on the Argentinian side before we were going to go hike around the Fitzroy ranges. And again, this is absolutely stunning, these mountain ranges. This is in a little town called El Chalten.
All I see is thumbnails. Can you blow it up?
There we go. Is that better?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is before we put stuff in our bag. Everywhere we have everything from tents to waterproof stuff, good shoes. There's photography equipment somewhere in there. I'm not sure where. Or actually, I'm taking the photo. So sleeping mats, a tent, everything. A funny story we actually had with the Torres del Paine, when we stopped off and got some stuff in Peru to get our gear ready for the trek, and we decided thought it was a good idea to buy a $20 tent from just a random store, a department store in Lima in Peru on our way down to save some money, because you've been backpacking for so long. Backpackers are really stingy people like myself. You do anything to save a buck to push your travel longer and longer. And then we realized that it wasn't quite waterproof. We thought, it might not be a good idea. When we're out camping in these conditions, I mean, I've never seen wind ever like I have in Patagonia. I've witnessed people sleeping in their tents with a big gust of wind coming along, rip the tent pegs up, pick up their tent, and just throw the tent along the ground with people in it. I mean, it was that windy. So we kind of had to have a bit of a giggle to ourselves when we realized we were originally going to attempt it with a $20 tent.
So did you get another tent, or did you make it?
Yeah, we hired another gear in Puerto Natales for that, and went out with all good gear, good waterproof gear, not a $13 jumpsuit, which my wife originally bought for waterproof stuff. Now, you really need good solid gear, especially for your photography equipment. Conditions change so unbelievably rapidly, and it might be sunny one minute, no wind, and then the next minute, bang, the wind hits you. It nearly pushes you over a cliff, because there's a lot of cliffs that you're walking by and stuff like that, and it's just really, really heavy rain. So you really got to be prepared for this. Get your camera equipment dry in plastic bags or any waterproof covers that you have. It's really, really crucial that you go along with this.
So, all the photos that you have over there, you told us about the trekking equipment. Let's talk about photography gear. What did you take with you?
With photography, and also to do with preparation, while we probably didn't necessarily prepare the best for the conditions and stuff like that, and I really recommend doing that, I did put a lot of effort into preparing for photography. I go to things like the Google Maps, suss out positions, look at other photographers' photos. There's a whole bunch of apps out there that you can use to get angles of sunlight and stuff like that. And when you really put a bit of effort in, you can really get yourself and find positions to really capture a nice frame. And this is one of my favorites, which I spent probably a couple of days of preparing for in order to try and find this particular scene.
It's a breathtaking scene, by the way.
So, and I absolutely love it. And for the photography gear, I travel with a mirrorless camera. I took all these photos with a Sony NEX7, which has now been superseded by the A7 and the A7R in a full frame.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to need a tripod everywhere you go. Take your tripod. Get your camera. You're going to need your filters. That's very, very important. For places like Patagonia, you're going to absolutely love your wide angles. I mean, this scenery is to die for. It has probably one of the best backdrops of any place I've gone for. So you're going to really want to explore and experiment with I guess different focal lengths, but my favorite is wide angle. This was shot at probably around 10 to 12 millimeter on a cropped sensor, so around 17, 18, 19 millimeter on full.
So how many batteries did you take with you?
Everywhere I go, I travel with 3 or 4 batteries. On the mirrorless cameras, they don't last as long as a SLR, but I recommend wherever you go, take a good few batteries, because
you don't have any way to charge them while you were traveling.
No, especially out here, there is absolutely nowhere. I can't remember how long we went for. We went for around 7 days, 6-7 days in this environment. So there's absolutely nowhere to charge. So you really need to stock up on your batteries, make sure they're all charged before you go out, because the very last thing you're going to want is to get to the end. You're going to see these sun rising over the mountains, but you got nothing left to shoot it with because you've gone through all your batteries. So definitely go in there prepared for that.
Okay, we'll do. So let's just go through your images and tell us something about a couple of them before it's time to end.
Yeah, this I'll go to this as a bit of an interesting image.
Yeah, I was going to say I saw the glacier image. Oh, that is awesome.
This is Perito Moreno in Argentina, on the Argentinian side of Patagonia. It's probably, I think it's one of 2 or 3 glaciers which are still growing on the planet. I think everyone else, all the others are receding. This is just spectacular. This is shot on 50 millimeter, and it's absolutely beautiful. I've never seen anything remotely like this. You can get right up close. This particular glacier extends right to this little piece of land that juts out, and you can get right on top of it and just sit there staring at this amazing alien-looking like environment. And one of the amazing thing is every 15 seconds, you're just hearing 15-20 seconds, you're hearing these cracks and these little bits of ice chipping off. And if you sit there long enough for 5 minutes, you're going to see something like several hundred metric tons of ice just break off from this and go slamming down into the water, creating these gigantic waves. This happens every 5 minutes. It's absolutely breathtaking just to sit there and watch, and it's really hard to pull yourself away from it.
So how close were you to the glacier?
Well, this is 50 mil. I'll give you a bit of you can see this one's a bit better. See, this is more of a bit of a pano with a wide angle, actually. So this is kind of towards the wide end. You can really see in the bottom left-hand corner of this photograph how close you can get on the land to the glacier.
Oh, that's cool. You can pretty much
right
walk
there.
up to it.
You could get a rock and throw it and hit the glacier. That's how close you can get.
So did you have to take a boat to get here, or what? Or do you have to truck?
No. This is a piece of land you can get to by bus, and there's a whole bunch of walking stairs all around here. Absolutely anyone of any age can do this. It's accessible to absolutely everybody.
That is Spectacular.
And if you wanna have a magical experience, you can actually hire out there's boats that go right up close to the glaciers on the left-hand side and on the right-hand side of this shot, and you can really get an appreciation, see how big these are. I mean, these are 30, 40 story high buildings. If you want to get a size comparison.
I've been to glaciers in Alaska, so I know exactly how big. They're like a mile long and 600 feet high, some of them.
Yeah,
so.
mind-blowing, isn't it?
Yes, and the colors are just breathtaking in them. So great shot, by the way.
Cheers. And in this area, here's one of the other things you can. The other place. This is Mount Fitzroy in Argentina. This is in the Fitzroy Ranges. Again, you go in the middle of summer and you have sections which are just completely smothered in snow, so you don't have to go there in winter to get all the snow shots. But this is one of we went up there for a sunrise shoot, and this is an hour trek up a steep hill, and you're presented with such a spectacular lake. You can drink out of the water if you want in this lake. A couple of people decided to go for a swim. I don't know if I would brave that one.
That must be like cold.
Freezing. It was minus 10 or something up there. But yeah, the mountain ranges in this area is absolutely spectacular. And this is the same mountain here. This was actually shot out of a bus on the way to El Chalten, which is the town you want to go to if you're trekking around these mountains. And this is a sunset shot.
So the mountain range, both I saw Torres del Paine as well as this one, they run east-west. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah, for sure. It's really unique, actually.
So you can shoot them both during sunset and sunrise, and you get side-lit.
And the beautiful thing about it is the big mountain in the middle there was what I just showed you on the previous shot. So, and you can get either side of this. There's glaciers running to the left behind the mountains, and you can kind of see one towards the right in this one. And there's massive trekking trails all around behind every which way in these, and half a dozen viewpoints you can get out to. So you can literally get into any position you want for any time of day when it comes to shooting.
So it seems like that the Mount Fitzroy is more accessible without going backpacking than Torres del Paine is. Yeah,
exactly. You can. With the good thing with this particular mountain range, the village, it's more like a kind of a village, is right in there, in the shadow of these things. So you can go for if you walk, with a bit of brisk, you can have day trips where you can come back the same day and stay in a hotel if you want to see these. And if they're more adventurous, you can spend a few days out there. So
awesome. Well, that's a great information for our viewers. So one last story before I close on. I wanted to see that photograph with a green in the lower left corner. Where is that?
Sorry, not that one. This one? Yeah, this is in this one, Jay?
Yeah. Where is that?
This is in Torres del Paine on the Chile side. My favorite of them all is Torres del Paine. I find it has the most unique, weird-looking mountains, but that's a personal preference of mine. But I just want to say, this is the typical scenery that you're going to get when you're walking amongst if you do the W trek, which is going in and out of the mountains. This is one of them. You're just walking all day long amongst scenery like this. I mean, it's really hard to select photograph the post-process when you've got so many different shots. We sat and had lunch here and watched avalanches. Actually, this is famous for this section is for avalanches. Towards the top left-hand corner of the photograph, I'm just going to zoom in towards this section here. Don't know if you guys can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's loading. It's rendering. This particular it's a hanging glacier, and every, I'd say, half an hour, 15, 20, 30 minutes, this breaks off, and you have a whole bunch of snow and ice just avalanching down the mountain. and you hear this from miles away. It's a kind of a really eerie sound. I mean,
and
I have a
you
really
should
kind
have
of
a
a
long
bad
shot.
photograph.
Yeah, you should have a long shot with a
Here's just
video.
here's a happy snap. Not the best quality photograph. It was just quickly whip it out my bag and press the button. But here's one of the avalanches that I'm talking about, just falling off of this hanging glacier on the top of a mountain. It's absolutely amazing.
All right, now I just can't wait to go there. So I just wanted to say it's 9:30, so we can end this. But great information, Clint. Send me the link to the website, and I will. What I'll do is I will actually go ahead and put it in the episode notes, and we can go from there. But awesome job in getting these photographs. Now that I've seen your photographs, I'm like, okay, let's go there. And I'll remember not to go with $20 tent.
No, yeah, pay a bit money for that one, or higher quality one.
So I'm going to sign off. So I wanted to say thank you for joining us today. And,
no problems.
This
thank you
episode
very much.
will be up. So I'll stop the broadcast and see you guys next time around.
See you guys. Cheers.